Welcome to the Art of Franchise Marketing. Each episode takes a deep dive into the franchise space and explores how the biggest and best brands handle national branding, franchise development, employee recruitment, and localized marketing on a daily basis. This podcast is brought to you by NetCertive, a localized digital marketing partner for franchise networks. NetCertive's Madeleine Park talks shop with franchise executives to discuss what's working, what's not, and answers the question, what else can you be doing to excel at the art of franchise marketing?
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Art of Franchise Marketing. I'm your host, Madeleine Zook, now that I finally changed my name from Park to Zook. And we've got Ira from Verlo Mattress. Hey Ira, how are you doing?
Hello.
I think this podcast is going to be great. And full send, I've got a beer. Listen, I tried to send Ira beer, but he didn't get back to me with his physical where he was. So I'll do it after. But we've got a lot to talk about today. We've got the mattress game, marketing, Emmys. So this should be a good episode. But we'll start. Ira, tell me who you are, what's your title, where are you at now, how'd you get here? Give the listeners the rundown.
Yeah. So I am the VP of Marketing here at Verlo Mattress. I've been here for about 3 years, introduced into the franchise space from here. Previous from there, I was interim marketing director for a regional furniture and mattress store. And previous to that, creative director. And then previous to that, a whole different career. I was a journalist. So I worked as a photojournalist and a producer. And probably 10 years here in the Milwaukee market in the investigative special assignment department. So I had a fun life.
I love franchising because every time I ask someone, it's not like, the Wall Street guys who are like, oh, eventually I made it to a venture capitalist because I went through steps ABC. Franchising is like, well, I did a cannonball, wasn't sure if it was going to be water or Jello, and here we are in pudding. So I love it, and we'll dig into your background later. But for the listeners, tell us about Verlo. I see your little squishy mascot in the background.
Yes.
I would take a hard
friend over there.
But talk Verlo, what's your differentiator? Where are you in the space?
Yeah. So Verlo Mattress, we've been in business for a very long time, franchising since the 80s. We are considered a re-emerging brand. Since I've been here, they haven't added a franchise in, about 14 years. Wow. And our president, Dirk Stallman's put together a team, and that's been our mission for the last 3 years, is to start getting out there and reemerge. So we have 21 in development right now, and hopefully getting word in the next few days of some more. But as far as like Verlo Mattress, what is Verlo Mattress? Like we hear it all the time, like mattress, another mattress store. So how are we different? And really what it comes down to is that we are the manufacturer and the retailer. So we sell it in front, we make it in back, and we really use this against the competition as well. People hear of Tempur-Pedic, Simmons, Beauty Rest, Purple, Casper. So, it is a competitive field, but, a lot of what they're doing is, and I'll talk about Maddie, how that comes into play with that.
His name is Maddie?
Maddie.
Well,
this is baby Maddie here. We got baby Maddie here. Yes. So really what separates us is really that we really foster on that, being that local mattress expert. And we don't sell mattresses, we fix problems. Anyone can go online, buy a mattress, have it shipped. We can talk about that all day. I can talk about all the issues that happen with that all day. But at the end of the day, a mattress is something that you're going to spend a third of your life on, and it's an investment. So, really when people come in our store, we want people to come in our store because we want to take that time to find out what mattress is right for you so that you're able to get a good night's sleep. And that's important because think about all the things that you do in life. And, it's the health craze now, it's whatever the new fad is and all that stuff. But people don't think that like, hey, the first thing you can do before you get healthy is get a proper night's sleep. So, we really talk about how we work with our customers to like, it's not just selling a mattress. Even in our showrooms, how we're set up, it's not mattresses lined up. We try to make it organized and make sense as that process goes so that you can really dial in your mattress no matter where your price point is at. We have what's called a pod system for ours. So in each pod, are the different types of mattresses for different needs. So it helps, it breaks through. And, the great thing is I always pick on our competition, and we do comparables. And so just think about the factory direct middleman message right there. So we buy our materials essentially from the same place that everybody else is getting theirs. And that's our stop right there. We're making it, we're selling it to the consumer. Whereas somebody like a regional retailer where I used to work for, they're buying it from the manufacturer, getting warehouse, the middleman, and then it's going to the retailer. He's got to have that markup. And those markups, there's 2 to 3 to 4 markups within there. So, we really pass that savings on to that consumer. So you're getting a quality mattress where someone at one brand is going to be their top of the line mattress. It's in the middle for us. And then that price difference is a pretty big difference as well. So that's what we work on, is trying to get that message out there to get our consumers to understand like that difference. Like we truly are mattress experts, even as far as like the training that we go through. Our salespeople make mattresses. They know what goes in it. They know the components. I know what it is like at the retailer, because I created training for them for the company I worked for, and I saw their training. You're watching a 5-minute video. So, we're touching, feeling, and really getting in there and understanding what each component. It's great when we do our discovery day. There's a question that gets put on the screen. I can't even repeat the question because it's so scientific and so many numbers and language. I've heard this speech about 20 times. I still I know what the answer is, but it's like, what? But these are like things that our salespeople know, because they're making it and they're selling it. So it's great in that concept.
So all I really heard from that answer was it's party in the front and business in the back. So you're the mullet of magazine? I don't know. See, I love that, because you're right. Not only with the markups, but being able to really be in the weeds of like, the people who are buying your franchises, they believe in the product. And because they see the product, they have to make the product. And I'm one of those people that if I'm working somewhere, I'm going to be our harshest critic. So to have those people behind you and pushing your sale, but also your mission, I think is super important. Yeah. And that brings me to kind of our first talking point, which we talked about, was the challenges in the mattress game. Because I'll tell you, until you point out, like, you spend a third of your life sleeping, I'm like, that's generous. Mine is probably 75%. And if you could turn this camera, because this is actually just like a office wall in my bedroom, because now my office is a nursery. I have a purple mattress layered on top of a cat mattress because we hated both of them and they won't come pick them up. We got refunds, and now it's just like mattress on mattress, and we're like, well, this both sucks, but we'll do something with it eventually. And it's no one has ever explained to us, to your point, the pods or the science of what we both need. And the next thing you know, we're like, well, do we get one of those old people beds that like goes up and down, separates, and
my gosh,
it's so much more complex, and you guys are so much more in the health and wellness space than just a retail space than people realize. But at the same time, you're now competing with Amazon, the companies that are like, we'll send you a mattress and it's, 2 pounds in a cute little roll up box. And then there's also, like, no offense to the other mattress companies out there, but I'm pretty sure for a long time, I was like, these are drug fronts, because I don't ever see any cars. Like, there is 3 mattress stores within a block of each other, and I'm like, who's going in and buying a mattress? And we tying it to the hood of the car. So clearly it's a need. But talk to me about how you guys are competing brick and mortar, Amazon, and all these crazy marketing schemes. I think it was Purple who ran a CTV campaign, and they just went with the crazy, get your attention, whatever it was, campaign. Because that's a different kind of competition than I think a lot of people see.
Yeah, it is. So I'll dial it back a little bit here. So when you mentioned that there's a mattress, I'll call it mattress firm on every corner. Yeah, there is. Yeah. But think about this, because we get that all the time. And, the way we think about, when someone asks about, sandwich shop, there's a sandwich shop, there's 3 on every corner. Sure. So, but think about everyone sleeps, right? when everyone sleeps.
You have
So
to literally
think about how many households are in the United States.
True.
Think about, I mean, just your own local community. Think about how many houses are there. How many bedrooms are in those houses? You need a mattress, right? So, you know, when your kids get older, they're going to all need their own bed. So there we go.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So we really, I mean, our target audience is the master bedroom. That's where it starts, and then things sort of trickle down from there. So how do we differentiate? So you, in the beginning, you were sort of talking about the, you know, you have a purple and you have a Casper on top of it. They won't come pick it up. So here's another differentiator for us. We have what's called a lifetime comfort guarantee. Since we make the mattresses locally, so every area has their own local factory. So every franchise owner has their own factory local in their community. They'll surround it around with satellite stores. So what we have in our lifetime comfort guarantee, we're able to come in and adjust your mattress. So we have a lifetime comfort guarantee for the life of your mattress. We're able to adjust the comfort of your mattress. So one way to think about it is like a tailor. So you buy a suit. I go out and buy a, gosh, I don't own suits anymore. Thank you. I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 suit. I've never, and I lose weight.
You don't need those.
So you lose weight, right? So I've lost 25 pounds in the past 6 months. And so now my clothes don't work. So what I can do for my suit, take it to the tailor, get it fixed, adjust it to me. Same for the mattress. And you can't do that with Purple, Casper, and all the other brands that are out there to get adjusted. So then the other issue that's happening is sustainability. So there's legislation that's happening out in California. It's an issue, landfills. So I'm sure everyone has heard the story about how they purchase an online mattress, and whether it's 3 months, a year, 2 years, that mattress has failed them. So what do? They call up and they tell them, oh, donate it, throw it out. We'll send you a new one or give you money. What happens to that mattress? It goes in the landfill. So that's part of the other part of what we love, and I love about our brand, is that because we can take that existing mattress and adjust it, you don't have to go and throw that mattress and start over.
Yeah.
So just thinking of that concept of it. So you're asking about, so how do we differentiate ourselves as far as that marketing aspect to it? Look, you can go and look it up right now. Casper, Purple. Casper, they're spending, gosh, I think it was like 46% of their ads to, or their sales to ad revenue, their marketing budget. That's incredible. They're still not profitable. You know what? They are great marketers. They're great. They're amazing. Purple out, like, awesome, incredible. So with that, that's why we have our buddy over here. And it was a concept that our president, Dirk Stallman, worked on before I came here. And it's bad at marketing, great at mattresses. Because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what we are. So we just call it out, right? Like, hey, and you got to think, like, our marketing at that time was all about being local. You know, we have our local owners who are doing TV commercials. These aren't high production commercials. You know, I would say they're a step above cable access. And they're great and they're knowledgeable. And you know what? They're not the good looking guy who's got the perfect hair and their clothes is perfect. I mean, they're gritty guys. They're mattress makers. They're craftsmen. So it's great in that aspect. So we just leaned into that, and we have, gosh, I think we're at 13, 14 commercials that we've done for that campaign. And it really breaks through the noise, especially when we are on TV. It breaks through the noise because you hear all these different commercials and people stop and they watch. And I'll send you a couple of them. I don't know if you're able to edit them into this podcast, but they're fun. They're goofy. And I mean, we just call it out. I mean, that's really what it is. Yeah. We'll say it. We're bad at marketing, great at mattresses.
And that's what, and you know, it not only does it resonate. I mean, we talked about this before we hit record of just like, being normal people. We drop F-bombs. Yes. We drink beers on Friday. Like sometimes like we have to just call it how it is. Like we don't have the greatest marketing compared to, you know, people can spend billions and millions and quadrillions, but we're good at making mattresses.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, man, if I can have the $20 million marketing budget, oh yeah. Like let's go. I can do that. I played that game.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I guess the biggest benefit, or one of the biggest benefits to that, is that a lot of your resources are now going into educating the customers on not only who you are and why you're different, but what they're getting out of it. And I
Yeah.
constantly, I should say coach, but just harp on franchisees and franchisors that whatever you're marketing, at least a portion of it has to be, I always say it either has to be entertaining, educational, or an exclusive.
Yeah.
If you can hit more than one of those three or one of those E's, great. But it can't just be me, 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 me. Like, what are they getting out of it? Is it, is it information? Is it coupon?
Education.
Exactly.
Education.
Exactly.
Education. And that's really our play too, is educating the consumer. So the reality of it, we're a highly cross-shopped category.
Sure.
And that's how we're going to win is one, making sure the consumer knows that we truly are the experts, but then also educating them so that when they go out to look at the next guy, that they're armed with information and they know what to look for. We're not afraid of our guys coming in, getting the information, and leaving our store because we know they're going to come back.
Right.
So there's a little play that our salespeople do, and it's a joke. We know, you get people who come in the store and they're tiptoe around it. We know you're going to come in, you're going to check us out, you're going to go to the next door. It's good, it's okay. You know what? We're going to give you an estimate. We're going to tell you all the information. Take it with you, compare it with the next guy. We're going to see in a little bit.
And I think that really plays into, we just did, one of our home service summits, and one of the brands talked about having to include the thought process or thought cycle into their sales cycle. So contrary to what most people think is you see an ad and someone's going to click on it and you need to nail them right away, as we're starting to tell people, look, brand awareness takes 7 to 10 views before they come back, to also include in your sales process, no, they're going to come in, they're going to want an estimate, they're going to walk back out that door, but we know that XYZ time they're going to come back and then they're going to purchase. And I think that that's a really important piece, because we're not used car salesmen. I've been there where they don't let you leave until I'm like, you want to give this to me for free, I'm waiting. But to arm them with information and knowing that one of your differentiators is that, one, you're meeting all of these pain points, but two, sure, you could, I'm not pressuring you. You have options, and we know that. And I think that is a really important story to tell, which brings me to the next portion of your history and your mission with Verlo. Is I hear through the grapevine that you're just a little bit good at storytelling, which I now call story-telling, because I made when I was writing your email, I meant to say storytelling and I wrote an S in front of story or telling, and I was like, telling. It's kind of selling. It's kind of telling. So I'm going to run with that.
Trademark that.
Yeah, make it look like it did it on purpose. But talk to me about your past. I heard there was maybe an Emmy involved, and how you're bringing that over to what most people would think is a, boring mattress product, but making it come to life.
Yeah. I have been very fortunate in my life. I've lived multiple lives. And so out of college, I started as a journalist. I was a photojournalist and a producer, videographer. And I was fortunate that I told stories that made a difference, that saved lives, that changed laws, and had fun, made people laugh, made people cry. And I was fortunate that through that career, won a lot of awards. And for me, the biggest award for me was being a 5-time Emmy Award winner. So that's something that was that I strive for. I was fortunate to win one, but have 5 under my belt, and doing it young as well. So that's fortunate. And that's probably one of the reasons why I sort of transferred out as well. I had another bucket list item back in my TV career. I would shoot football games, NFL football games. So my ending where I did it all. So I traveled the world, traveled the United States, and it was going to the Super Bowl when the Packers played Pittsburgh, and shot the game on the field, which is incredible. So I shoot a lot of football, but just being at that level and got to be on the field, and we won. and was able to celebrate with the team out on the field as the confetti's coming down. So yeah, so that was that topper at that point. Married, looking to have kids, and I traveled a lot. I would literally go into work and jumping on an airplane a couple hours later to Bosnia.
Crazy.
And which is great, but my wife is an incredible woman, and she's also she's a psychologist, and she works at the VA, and she sees patients. So it's not fair to her, and this is what I was always concerned about. It's not fair to her for me to last minute jump out. We have kids. She's now got to uproot her entire day, her career. Her career is more important than mine. I mean, she's helping people. And it just, the moons aligned, and there's an opportunity for me to get out of the TV news business and get into that marketing side. And I was a creative director for this retail furniture and mattress location. So then that's how I jumped over to there. And through there, the president of Verlo was the marketing director. So you can see how that ended.
There it is.
He was my mentor. And I learned a lot from him. And when he left to come over to Verlo, I was the interim marketing director, and there was sort of this chat, and he became president, and he asked me to come over, and it was a great opportunity, and I loved it. I loved the brand. I always knew of Verlo. Verlo's local here. Always knew the brand and the message of it, and thought it was fun, and it was actually different from what I was doing, and quite frankly, it's a challenge.
Sure.
I love challenges. I get bored, so I need that challenge. And franchising was a whole new world for me, and that was the challenge for me of learning and understanding. And it's been incredible. Like, I'm just amazed with the people that I've met in franchising. It's incredible because I've always grown up in this very highly competitive. I played sports, competitive. TV news, very competitive. Even for the furniture company I worked with, very competitive. And you don't go and call up another brand and like, hey, I'm having problems with this. Like, you got some solutions? Now you get hung up on, right? Yeah. And it's like, hey, why don't you come on over? I'm going to open up the entire book. Take as much time, ask as many questions. Like, wow, this is incredible. And for me, my background and for what I enjoy as well, I believe in that as well. So that's something that was really fascinating to me. And man, I'm all in. I mean, I love franchising. Just on that alone is just people really are out to help each other and want everyone else to succeed.
I think that is great. This is probably why we riff so well, is because one of my realized my purpose is like, I am not my best version of myself unless I'm helping the next person. And that can be in a competitive landscape, in a work landscape. I played professional basketball, as you can see here. So I also was in the sports world. And I think that you're right. In most aspects of business and life, no one's going to, have you peek behind the curtain, right? Everyone is, going to hinder their secrets. And I was on the brand side where I was like, I think that I don't know what to do. My CEO was like, what is Molly Maids doing? This is when I worked at Maid Pro. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to call them. Like, what? So when I came to NetSertive, and I really put an emphasis on making sure that the connections were made, the synapses were firing, because people in franchising are just amazing. And I think I challenge you to leave franchising, Ira. Like, your next jersey, if you ever left franchising, like, people don't leave once they're in. It's like a family.
I know, right?
Which I think is really great. And so talk to me about how, and like you said, from Bosnia to the Super Bowl, I mean, you're telling some heavy, heartfelt stories, right? I come from a family of photographers and videographers. I get it. And how are you able to transfer some of that magic and storytelling to your team and create a culture of not only I'm going to implement storytelling into our marketing strategy, but bringing over the importance of how that can really make or break a company?
Oh, yeah. Man, that's a deep question. Now I think about it, diving into it.
I made it up on the fly, so.
You know,
Because
I
I'm
think
thinking
it's
like,
compassion.
yeah,
Like I'm thinking about my storytelling as a journalist, it's compassion. I mean, it's compassion and paying attention and listening and being open-minded and putting yourself in the other person's shoe. In the journalism days, gosh, I mean, um, I am I had this question as a man. My buddies and I were talking about this. As a man, you grow up as a man. You don't cry. You don't show emotion. My father didn't show much emotion. He was a very strong man. You got to be strong. I mean, I'm the opposite of that. Like for me, I judge a movie on how that affected me emotionally. Did I laugh? Did I cry? Like man, you don't want to sit next to me in the movie theater, man. The tears are
Ira,
going to come
my
down.
husband cried at Coco Loco last night. So I'm with you.
Yeah, it's so for me, that's kind of where you can be funny or you can just make that strong connection. So
Mhm.
when I was a journalist, that was my thing. Like I wanted to touch someone's emotion and make them feel, because then if they feel, they're going to react. So, and I think that translates over into marketing as well. I mean, a lot of marketing is somehow, how do you get someone to react? How do you get someone to feel? Whether it's the emotional state. Do you make them laugh? Do you make them cry? Do you get them involved? So obviously with Verlo, it's mattresses. So I'm not sure how serious you can be with mattresses. So it's laughter, it's comedy, it's fun, and it's little gags as far as the marketing that we do. Um, so I mean, you just got to find that niche for your brand. I mean, you talk about the service brands. I can just off my top of my head, I can just rattle so many ways for you to create that connection
Sure.
with that consumer. I mean, we're trying to do that here at Verlo as well. I'm doing it with reviews of how we get our reviews, but make that connection to that local owner. It's not about Verlo here as this big, huge entity. Where we win is at that local level. So how do we get that message about our local owner and the things that he's doing within his community? They're not this, it's not like what Monopoly and, the guys with the coat,
Right.
with the big money thing. No, this is a guy who's in his local community, who's running his own factory, who's providing jobs for people local in the community, who's donating, their profits to their local charities, and who, at the end of the day, is putting a meal on their table for their family,
Mm-hmm.
right? So how do you tell that story to make that connection? So, and I think that's really what that storytelling of being able to do that at that local level of really, and I'm starting to see it in franchising. With a lot of brands of trying to connect their franchisees to get that exposure out there and really tell who they are. Because you know what, no matter what brand you are, yeah, you put on the uniform and you're representing that brand, and you're not, but it's the person behind that uniform that makes that brand successful and stand out. So celebrate that. That's your story right there.
I love that. And that is going to be, the pull quote of the century. And I think it's so true because I'm always the friend that people bring along that they're like, Maddie will take all the pictures. She'll take all the pictures. My Google Drive is like 7,000 photos from like last week. But my purpose of that is like, people are like, oh, you want to live your life. Oh, she's just in marketing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, but the story can't be told if there's no proof to tell it type thing. Like not
Yep.
in so many instances it's easier to share a story when there is visuals, when there is not just a
Absolutely. Yep.
remembrance, someone's memory. So to bring that into all aspects of your life and being able to tell a story that otherwise probably isn't going to be told or isn't going to be told in a way that's going to help others. Photojournalism, like if people think of watching the news with no pictures, like it doesn't hit you as hard. If,
No.
if you're trying to tell Verlo's story and you're not showing like me, the new mom, that if I only get 3 hours of sleep a night, so it better be good sleep, or so and so who maybe the veteran who got injured and it needs a special, situation to sleep. So that is the stories that we want to tell. And because we're small businesses, those franchise owners, that's who we're helping so that they can help others. And I think that is one of the greatest stories. Mattress generator, Made Pro cleaning, whatever else I own, those are the most important things. It's not about the product or service. but it's about the people, which brings
The
me,
people are incredible.
yeah, it brings me to, this is a perfect segment. This is why I didn't reschedule, Ira. It's just so easy. We talked about this before, and I was like, save it for when I hit record. Was your mentor and putting people around you that are good at maybe things you're not, and leading that way. And franchising, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of suppliers, there's a lot of people, a lot of personalities, and that really hit a chord with me because I'm the same. I feel like I can do some things really well, and other things I am like, let's put the best people around us and let's win as a team. For instance, I can't do math. If you threw a math problem out at me right now, I would literally probably panic and faint. Whereas like I can public speak and that's not an issue, but you throw long division at me, we're going down. We're going down swinging. So talk to me about your philosophy there and how you're building the Verlo Mattress internal team, but also now that you guys have gotten back into the new ownership game, how you're kind of coaching to lead those new hires, new franchisees to success.
Yeah. So this goes back, like we were talking a little bit earlier, of me growing up in my career.
Right.
And it always struck me that when you left the company, that your boss took it personal or was upsetting to them. I never understood that. And now that I'm in the position that I'm at now, I can flip that. So I'm a helper. That's who I am. I want to help people. Even getting back into the whole like love of franchising. In my previous career, I made hundreds and hundreds of TV commercials. And when you're in that world as a creative director, getting people who want to get into the business, it's difficult because it's hard to get on set for a commercial. An agency is not going to want people on set. The crew don't want people on set. And it's difficult. Like, how does someone become that if they can't get that access? So when I ran the studio where I was at, I was wide open. I invited the local high school, the college, people who were out of college or just getting into business, like, hey, come on set, sit next to me when I'm directing a commercial, sit next to me, ask questions. Like, we're here, it's open. So just sort of giving back because people have given their time, their knowledge to me. And, I just feel like you need to pass that forward. I taught, I was an adjunct professor for 4 semesters and taught, and that was the most rewarding thing right there. And I still talk to the students who I taught. It's amazing just to watch them. So it's sort of this, as a boss, when you hire somebody, I believe it's all about creating that stepping stone for them, of making them better for who they are, and like celebrate. So I'm transparent with. We have hired a marketing coordinator. I was transparent. Like, what are your life goals? What do you want to do? But the reality of it, does she really want to be a marketing coordinator for the rest of her life? No, she's got aspirations, and so like let me help you. Like, I'm going to be transparent with you. You be transparent with me. Like, if there comes a point where you're bored and you want to take that next step, tell me, what is that next step? Let me help you get there. Because what's more rewarding is helping someone on their journey and to become better and a better person in their lives, to support a family or anything like that. I mean, that's rewarding. I coached Little League Base, the same thing, like watching the little kids and helping them. Like, gosh, kid who can't hit a ball at the beginning of the season, at the end of the season, hitting the ball every single time. That's rewarding, seeing that success and knowing that you're a part of that success to build. And that's something that I speak open about and talk about because of my upbringing of that. And it just felt like it was all negative. And like, celebrate people who are moving. Like, it's okay. I mean, I'd be disappointed if our marketing coordinator like did a parallel move, because that means that I failed her. Like that, I would take that personal because that's me. I failed her if she went and worked for the next person as a marketing coordinator, but she moved up the ladder. Like, take credit. I mean, that's what it's all about. So and you kind of hinted a little bit about, I hire people for my weaknesses. So our marketing coordinator, even my previous place when I was hiring people, I didn't hire someone who was just like me. Like, we don't need that. You're just going to run in circles with yourself.
Right.
So, very transparent. Like, I'm a creative person. And with creative people, there are some weaknesses, inherent weaknesses. We won't go in there and pick on my weaknesses right now, but
listen, I'm sure yours and I are very the same. You can call me for long division, but when it comes to the mundane operations, we're probably not the people for the job.
Yeah, I can ideate and think of the future and think of programs and create things. But I was talking a little bit about I'm going on tangents here, but Strength Finders 2.0 is a book. It's more of like a test where it talks about essentially like focus on your strengths and surround yourself around people for your weaknesses. And that's what I highly believe in that. And that's what I've done. My old place where I managed a bunch of people, and even here. My weakness is I'm organized. My wife might not agree with that. To my wife, I am not organized, but I need someone who is hyper organized to help keep things moving forward. I'm great. I'll come up with the idea and work things out and push things together, and I'll get it 80% there. I'm on to the next thing. Like, what else can I make better? I'm moving. So I need that other person to come in and to, finish those small little details to get over the finish line because I'm off to the next great thing. So hire people that way. Like, know what your weaknesses are, and I share them. It's the Strength Finders 2.0. I highly recommend. If you haven't heard of it, do it. You learn a little bit about yourself. You learn how to, based on your strengths, how to put people in there to help you, and so your team is stronger as a whole. Highly suggest that. Have your employees do it. You do it. Share with each other, so people understand where people stand. And it also helps as a manager how to approach people, because you know something about your employee, and it helps you and guides you in that, like how to have a conversation or how to deal with the situation. It's great. Highly suggest it. Get on Amazon for like $20. It's worth it.
That's cool. That's kind of like that, whatever, the love languages, but for managing people. My husband and I just went through it. I was like, can you just get me all the gifts? I feel love when you buy me things. And he's like, well, I love the dishwasher. And I was like, herein lies our problem. But it's so true. People want to be managed differently, and surrounding yourself when, I can see the challenge of surrounding people that are strong at your weaknesses can also be, not just, how to manage yourself. If you hire another one of you, it's a different ballgame.
Right. Yeah.
So important to learn. And definitely when you're in the franchising world, because I always say, like, people who are not in the franchising realm every day and either try to get into it or are learning about it, I said, look, you've got every personality under the sun. You've got your franchisees, you've got your corporate, you've got your coaches, you've got your suppliers. So dealing with all of those personalities and trying to make big time decisions on a daily basis is tough. And you really got to learn and understand how to work with people. And we're coming up on time, but I did want to ask my final 2-part question, which is always a listener's favorite, which, if you could give a piece of advice to a franchisee, what would it be? And if you could give a piece of advice to a franchisor, what would that be?
Man.
Same response. I could make an entire video of people being like, damn it, Maddie.
Could you email me this question? Oh, man. I would say I guess this could go both ways. I mean, just kind of staying on that topic. Like, don't be afraid to be naked. Right? Like, don't be afraid. Like, I guess that's so bad in today's time.
No, I love that.
But like, this is what I love about franchising. Maddie, you and I called. We talked, right? I had some questions. And I think that franchising it creates this sort of atmosphere that I can say, Maddie, I have no clue what I'm doing right here. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Like, that's the start, right?
Right.
I mean, instead of, okay, I can sit around, fake it and make it. 10 years I might be able to figure this out, but like, it's just like the speed button, man. It's just boost. And I just laid it out, and I think that's great in the whole franchising world that you can do that. And I've shared with other people, and I've had other people who've, now it's coming back around, where I've had people who call me up and ask for, how are you doing things? What are you doing? And it's great to be able to share. So, I mean, I would say, just as a whole, really within that franchising world, the org level, like, don't be afraid to say you don't know.
Yeah.
I talk to our marketing coordinator all the time. I'm not putting her name out there because she is so amazing. I don't want anyone looking her up. She is mine. She completely is awesome. She's incredible. But Kiera, we talk about it all the time. Like, hey, there are going to be some things that I don't know. And there's going to be things that you don't know. And I really hired Kiera. I mean, she graduated in marketing out of college, but she was green. I hired her for her. I had a great reference for her. A friend recommended her, which is awesome.
Sure.
And just her work ethic, how she's organized, like all these things to check the box. I didn't even ask marketing questions when we interviewed because I knew that I can train. And I'm like, hey, look, don't be afraid to say I don't know. Like, that's the biggest failure. And I'm going to do it to you because I don't know everything either. Like, let's just be open and honest with each other. You don't know. Let's just, you know what? We're going to figure it out together.
Yep.
It's great. So, and I think we've been able to evolve very quickly as far as our relationship as employee and just as our department grows faster that way. So, transparency and just like, don't be afraid to say you don't know. Because I've worked with people who, later you figure out that they don't know and they spent so much time and energy, and it's like, well, just say it. It's okay. We're not perfect. We're humans.
Nobody likes those people. Nobody likes know-it-all.
Yeah. So franchisees, man, I don't know. I mean, our franchisees that we work with, they're incredible. Like just the tenacity that they have, and we have a lot of people who've been with the system for a very long time, and 20, 30 years, and they're great. They share. I would just say, like, be comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. Today we had one, and it was probably more uncomfortable for me, but I thought it was great because at the end of it, we solved some problems. And I appreciate that. And it's tough. It's tough when people, bring some issues and trying to figure it out. But yeah, just be transparent and all, and don't be afraid to have a difficult conversation. It's not personal. And that's the great thing about our system. It's not personal. We can get in there and, we can just dive into something, but at the end, we're all shaking hands and going to go have a beer together.
That's great. And Ira, thank you for that. I won't tell the TV network that runs Naked and Afraid to hire you. That seems to be like maybe not. That's awesome. And that's why I asked that question, because you get responses like that are just naked and transparent and exactly what we want. Well, thank you for coming on The Art of Franchise Marketing. Listen, if you guys want to connect with Ira, he's up and coming in the space in terms of public speaking. I'm starting to see him everywhere. So you can find him on LinkedIn. Go to a Verlo Mattress near you. Listen, thank you so much. And to our listeners, we will catch you on the next episode of The Art of Franchise Marketing.
Thanks for listening to The Art of Franchise Marketing. This show is brought to you by NetCertive. We help franchise brands and multi-location businesses run localized digital marketing at scale. To learn more, visit netcertive.com.